Hey, remember when I rode a saddlebred that one time? Yeah, that wasn't a one-off. I'm still doing it. I'm taking lessons, actually. In secret. Not really, I just haven't told anybody. Because I am not very good, and I don't actually want anyone to know. So first and foremost, right off the bat, we are not allowed to comment on my little white helmet. This is just a cheap Tough Rider that I bought to keep into my car. Because I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm saving the expensive helmets for when I'm out on cross country. I am not replacing my 1K because I got thrown off of a saddlebred because I don't know what I'm doing. My 1K is specifically reserved for when I'm hitting the ground at terminal velocity going down a hill in the middle of Wisconsin. So yes, actually, I have been taking several lessons over at Caitlin Carmody Stables up in Wisconsin. I think here this is like my 6th or 7th lesson, and I finally got upgraded to a show horse. Yes, it is a show horse for babies. It's me and my fellow 7-year-olds who exclusively ride Brewer. However, a benefit that they have realized at this stable, I don't know if you can see, Brewer is very scared of that cardboard over there. And they really quickly clocked that if you throw an eventer onto a horse that's spooking at something, they stop spooking because we eventers are A, strong, and B, very scary. And C, have absolutely no reaction when they spook. So when Brewer went, I'm not gonna go near that door, I said, no, actually you are, buddy. And he said, what are you gonna do? You're not stronger than me. And I said, I actually am. Because as you can see, Brewer's used to a certain lifestyle on account of he's being ridden exclusively by 7-year-olds. The lifestyle being, I do what I want. And I said, I'm sorry, sir, I could bench press you if I wanted to. So in a way, I've sort of become their crash test dummy, in which if a horse is being weird and bad or won't walk or won't stand still, just throw Sydney the Incredible Hulk up on it. The reasoning being, if I can get a 1,200-pound half Connemara through a 2-stride out on cross country, I can probably make a saddlebred stand still like an adult. Which, I'm gonna be honest, is kind of the only thing that I'm good for at this barn, because it ain't riding well. Caitlin insists that I'm getting better, but I think she is contractually obligated to be nice to me. And also, she thinks I'm funny and cool and just wants me to hang out, and I'm not going to do that if I'm not riding. So she's like, yeah, definitely, you're definitely getting better. And like, I get it, I am cool and funny to have around, but you don't have to lie to me. I have eyeballs. I'm looking at this video right now, and I'm going to be honest with you. I have actually no concept of if I'm getting better. See here how I'm making him walk past it like a full-grown man. I am good at what I do, and what I do is being a brick. Anyway, I guess I shouldn't be so hard on myself, but I truly have absolutely no concept on if I'm getting better or not. Because in every single way, except for the fact that it involves a horse, saddlebred is the exact opposite of eventing. For example, your feet are 7 to 12 feet ahead of you. You are gripping almost exclusively with your knees and letting your lower leg hang off of the side of them. This, of course, makes every dressage and jump rider right now cringe so hard in their entire body. One of those full body cringes. It sort of feels like you got a cramp. Because in that discipline, you're gripping entirely with your lower leg and ideally kind of have your knee off of the saddle. Not so much in dressage, but you know what I mean. Also in this discipline, you're just holding your hands up really, really, really high. Oh, here Brewer broke from the canter because I said, actually, you have to go in that corner. And he said, well, what if I just stop? And I said, well, I can't argue with you there, bud. But we're going to canter again. I will say that the saddlebred canter is so comfy. You're just sitting there. You don't really feel like you're going anywhere. Obviously, movement is happening and you're seeing different parts of the arena, but it doesn't actually feel like you're going anywhere. It rules. But anyway, like your hand position is really, really high up, which makes sense because their neck is really, really high up. But instinctively, when he starts to put his head up, which he's supposed to do on account of he's a saddlebred, so when he puts his head up, I instinctively want to put my hands down. And Caitlin goes, that's going to make him put his head down. And I go, yeah, that's the point. And she's like, literally not. So that's confusing in a lot of ways. But a lot of the fundamentals are the same. For one, you want them pushing off of their back end up into your hand. That's a fundamental dressage movement. That's just sort of a fundamental horse principle of training. You want them to be supple and light in their mouth. Brewer's not on account of he's a show horse for children, so for his own emotional protection, he's decided to have a mouth like a brick, and I don't really blame him. If you've ever felt how incredibly strong a 7-year-old can feel, you'll understand why Brewer has decided to just have no feeling in his mouth. But ideally, you want to have the same soft, flowing hand and elbow that you want in any discipline. Your hand and elbow is just, slightly higher because the horse's head is slightly higher. Okay, not slightly, like 8 feet higher than, any other horse in the world, but you get what I mean. I do kind of like that my white helmet makes me look like a little light bulb. I think that's kind of neat. Oh, here's another thing that's kind of neat. Because you don't have your lower leg on the horse, when it's time to turn him around, you know what you do? You say turn. And the horse goes, all right. And then they just turn on their own. That's crazy, guys. I can't think of a single voice command that my horses would respond to other than, please stop doing that or I'm going to sell you to the circus. Like, okay, this here. Guys, I look dumb. I look foolish. I look silly. I do not have the delicate frame that is required, I think, to excel in this sport. But gosh diddly darn it. See what I'm talking about here? See what I'm talking about here? Brewer's like, I'm not going to do that. And that's why I'm on him. Because I'm like, yeah, you are. Yeah, you are, little buddy. And there he is. I cannot tell if Brewer respects me or hates me. At this point, it doesn't really matter. He's not my horse. We're just work acquaintances. And this is also a thing that's really hard for me because I'm used to riding my own horses, so when they act up or do something, I typically know why they're doing it and what to do in response. This isn't my horse, right? So I don't really know what to do or if I need to be firm or if I need to be sort of forgiving and gentle, if they need someone who will bully them back or if they need someone who will suggest to do the right thing. I don't know. It's not my horse. And that gives me an incredible amount of anxiety. Also, because I don't want to hurt the guy. He's just a little orange guy. I don't want to hurt him. Not that I would ever have the intention of hurting him, but if he's used to 7-year-olds and then the She-Hulk gets on top of him, I don't want to get nuts. Having ridden my own horses, I know exactly how much pressure they need. And it can be a little bit intimidating to ride a horse where you don't know that. I mean, yes, in the grand scheme of things, is it better for my horsemanship to learn how to adapt to each horse and have each horse adapt to me? Yeah, obviously. Yeah, clearly. But it's also really scary and really hard for me in my little light bulb head. But anyway, Caitlin put me on Brewer because she says I'm ready to start riding the other show horses, and I could not disagree more because what am I doing with my body? Also, side note, your guys' barns be absolutely popping off. This bad boy is heated. It's got soft mulch in the arena. Wild. There's about, last time I counted, 17 to 18 tack rooms, a viewing room. There's a round pen indoors in a separate location. That's crazy. There's a viewing room for the round pen. There's, and eventers will think this is crazy, an indoor bathroom. What? It's a whole new world. I show up and people help me tack up and then I get on the horse and then I get off and they're like, yeah, somebody will take care of you. And then I just leave. And then I go home. I don't spend 3 hours sweating, making sure my horse is emotionally and physically okay. I feel like a beautiful princess. It's fantastic. I couldn't recommend it enough. I do end up sort of just standing there kind of awkwardly like a weird little Sydney statue watching them untack the horse because I can't just leave. I have to make sure that he's okay. Not that I think they won't take care of him, but I'm like, I feel weird. I have to be here. I rode him. It's my responsibility to untack him. And they're like, no. And I'm like, this is the noise I make. Okay. I don't know. We eventers are very hands-on. Perhaps some would argue too hands-on and too sort of codependent on our horses. So maybe it's good for me to learn to take a step back and let other people take control. Just that sentence alone gave me hives. Hold on. Let me go get a Benadryl. But anyway, I mean, I've been walking, I've been trotting, I've been cantering. I haven't slow gated or racked yet because obviously I am not ready for that. What? I don't even know how you ask for that. Though I guess knowing these horses, you probably say slow gait. And they just do it because they're voice commanded like border collies. See, look at that little halt there. What a good little noodle. Him, not me. I don't know what my upper body is doing. But yeah, I've been walking, I've been trotting, I've been cantering, I've even done some patterns. Okay, I've done one pattern, which, by the way, your patterns be driving my little dressage brain up a wall. Because the pattern is as follows. Go down the long side, stop in the middle. What do you mean the middle? You mean add a letter? There's no letters in here. What do you mean middle? Middle's ambiguous. Middle could mean anything. Anyway, stop at the middle, pick up your canner, do a circle at the end of the arena. How big of a circle? 20 meters? 15 meters? 10 meters? 30 meters? How many meters do you want the circle to be? And everyone's like, don't worry about it. Just make sure it's a circle. And I'm like, and I have to worry. What do you mean? And then it's like, get your trot in the corner. Okay, I get that, but make sure you land on the correct diagonal. Pardon me, I don't have time to just do a little switcherooski before the judge can notice, because that is my dressage speciality, baby. And then it's do 3 changes of diagonal down the long side. What? You don't want me to just be bouncing and bipping around up there? And I know you're thinking, Sydney, can we see you do the pattern? No. For some reason, my husband filmed every millisecond of this lesson except for the part where I did a pattern, which honestly, goated, based, good for him. Because let me tell you right now, it wasn't good. Also, sometimes your patterns will just have like drop your stirrups, which we in dressage call a mistake. But that's like, you're graded on it. That's crazy. And also, on these horses, I have absolutely no concept of how you would do that without stirrups. I'm relying on these stirrups almost entirely for my stability, both mental and physical. If I were to lose a stirrup while riding a saddlebred, I wouldn't even fall. I would just turn to smoke. I would just, away. There she goes. So yeah, I mean, that's my adventures, guys. What do you think? What do I look like? You know, how am I doing? I mean, be honest, but also lie to me and be nice. And obviously Brewer's headset isn't like 100% correct because I don't know how to do that. Me and the 7-year-olds haven't figured that out yet. And also Brewer says I'm not gonna do it. So that for a fact I know is not good. The rest, I have no idea. What is happening? Am I improving? Am I getting worse? Will my eventing trainer throw a rock at my head for doing this? Find out next week on Sydney's Adventures riding a saddlebred in a light bulb helmet.